Hey, it's Jen, and today I'm talking about how to have really good boundaries. I'm Jen Anderson. I'm an empowerment life coach, and one of the things I do is teach people how to establish really good boundaries in their lives. Now, as I talk to some of my clients, boundaries come up all of the time. Boundaries are a lot of things that create a lot of friction as we try to help ourselves feel better, but a lot of times we're doing it by trying to manage someone else. And one of the most important skills of setting boundaries is to remember who actually owns what. A lot of times we start to think that boundaries are actually what I call playbooks or manuals. Playbooks and manuals are what we think needs to happen in order to make us feel a certain way. Or this is how you need to act to make me feel this, and this is how you need to act to make me not feel this. That's actually a playbook. The reason that's not a boundary is because you are trying to manage someone else by subjecting them to your own personal rules of feelings. Boundaries just have to do with this is my responsibility, my thoughts, my feelings, and my actions. And it has nothing to do with controlling someone else's thoughts, feelings, and actions so that we'll feel a certain way inside. So let's use an example. A lot of times maybe we feel very annoyed. And the reason we think we feel annoyed is because our mother in law is telling us how to parent. But, and so we may try to not be around the mother in law or not be, or respond back to make her stop giving input or something like that without realizing that we are the ones responsible for feeling annoyed, not the mother in law. And I just use the mother in law just because that just comes up so frequently. My mother in law is fantastic. I love the girl. So she watches my videos. Sandra, I love you to pieces. This isn't about you. This isn't about me being annoyed about you. This is about me trying to help other people recognize that it's our own thoughts that are causing the annoyance, and we have total control over those. Now, something I talked about earlier a little while ago was that sometimes we start to try to get someone to act a certain way so that we don't feel, for instance, inadequate. When someone is jumping in to try to help parent our children, we may start thinking thoughts like they don't think I'm good enough or they think that I'm better than I am. And these are going to cause distressing, uncomfortable feelings. So that's playbook. When we have boundaries, this is just us saying, this is how I'm going to act because I'm choosing to and because I want to, not because of what you're doing. Once we try to give them ownership of our feelings or our actions or our thoughts, we just disempowered ourselves and we actually lost the ability to set a really true good boundary because we gave our power away. When we take full ownership of how we're feeling, we get to just choose how we want to show up, whether or not it has to do with the feelings. They're irrelevant. We just don't want to. That's the choice that we're making because we don't want to. And that needs to be good enough. A lot of times we try to justify and try to give really good reasons to justify why we're taking an action when really just not wanting to is a really, really good reason. For another reason is because once we feel like we have to, then we just took a victim stance because something bigger than us is making the decision for us. Once we believe that we are out of control, we are going to start taking more desperate action to stop something that really isn't ours in order to manage and control the situation. So, just some things to remember about boundaries is that they are never intended to change someone else. If we're trying to change someone else, we've entered the realm of emotional manipulation and we want to stay out of there for healthy, good reasons. When we're setting boundaries, it's not going to have anything to do with making us feel something or making us not feel something. A boundary is simply how we're going to protect ourselves and the lines that the actions we're going to take in order to help ourselves feel a certain way, not giving that responsibility to them. One thing that we butt up against is often thinking that we need to be angry in order to set a boundary. So we've got to justify um, becoming angry enough that we're finally going to do something or stand up for ourselves, which really isn't necessary. We just need to just do what we choose to do and follow through. Another thing that we need to know troubleshooting boundaries is that often the reason we're trying to make someone stop doing something is so we don't have to work so hard to follow through and honor the boundaries that we've set. I wish that she would stop saying that, so we don't have to stand up and speak our truth. We don't have to say, actually, I'm going to handle this. I've got this. Thank you for your input. We don't want to have to do that. It's uncomfortable sometimes, but really we don't have to have the anger to enforce a boundary. And it's our job. And we can follow through just because that's what we want to do, not because we're helpless to their behavior. So these are just some of the common things that I see come up over and over as I teach people how to set really good boundaries. So if you want to take something away, just remember you don't have to be mad. You don't have to try to be changing anyone, and you just get to choose because you want to, not because it's about them. It gets to be about you, and it's totally fine. You get to stay in your power, set some really excellent boundaries. Okay, good luck. Go set some great boundaries. Be able to enjoy your situation and not feel like someone else is managing your life.